All right, welcome, folks. My name is Michael Huggins, and today we are doing our Zoom Up. It's our meetup on Zoom. That's right. I got my co-host Scott Rowe out of Chicago. What's up, Scott?
Remember Zoom? Remember the Zoom show? Used to do that, the kids. Remember that, you guys? Maybe a little bit too old for you. Yeah, welcome in, guys.
Yeah, we're having
Chicago in the house.
today. Yeah, we're opening this up because we want to make sure that you guys understand that we are absolutely genuine about our ability to help people get involved in real estate investing. We hold nothing back. We open up everything, and our community here really becomes a big part of our life. And I say that with honest, genuine emotion because when I first got started in this program, I was flat broke. I was eating one meal a day, peanut butter, no jelly, cereal, no milk. It was a mess. I was working 2 jobs, drowning in student loan debt, and I was doing all the right things that they were saying to do. And I was still getting further and further in debt, and I was behind on my promises and my bills, and I hated it. When I found this organization, they taught me how to do real estate investing. They taught me how to think differently, how to treat people differently, how to treat myself differently. And so much has changed. My first deal took 9 months. And it made me a $21,000 profit. So grateful for that because since then I've done dozens of other deals and really helped probably over 1,000 people now become a real estate investor in these last 10 years. So
how old are you?
I am now 32.
And he's sitting on 265 acres in Tennessee, right?
That's right. We're starting a big project out here.
You just sent me some land next to him so I can move out there and hang out with Sasquatch too. So
another opportunity.
Pretty excited about maybe being your neighbor.
Yeah, man. We're gonna tear it up. So, but today's not about Scott or I, although we do have some previous episodes where if you want to go hear our stories, you can find them in the playlist. Today, we have another amazing guest from out of our Chicagoland area. Scott, you want to tell our folks a little bit about him?
I would love to. I love hanging out with this guy. I do a podcast with him now. I love him so much. He's got a corner office in our building here. Chicago we got a pretty big real estate community that we work with. And none of that would have been achieved without this man that we're going to talk about, him and his wife. And we do a lot of workshops, and there's nobody better. They tried me as MC, and they're like, you know what, you're a little rough around the edges. So we got Jay doing the MCing. He's the best, dude. He's like, what's that guy? What's the comedian? Give me the best
Joe
Oscar.
Rogan.
No, not Joe Rogan. The guy that does the Oscars, the best. Billy Crystal.
Oh. Oh, that's a high compliment. I wasn't ready.
That's a Jay. Jay, look at Jay's face. He's like, whoa. See, everybody knows, Jay, if you're going to have a show and you can pick a couple, Bob Hope, Billy Crystal, a couple of the toppies, this guy's that guy for our community here in Chicago. But we're here to hear from him. So this guy is fantastic at helping people. Again, Chicago would not be what it is without this man. So Jay Abramovitz, everybody.
Thank you, Scooty. Thank you for those kind words. I really appreciate that. But I'm now a little suspicious. I'm thinking you're trying to butter me up for something. There's a favor that you're going to ask.
No, this is being recorded, so people are going to see it all over the place. So, I wanted to think better of me.
On the internet, it's a fact, right?
Let me tell you something. If you watch some of the other recordings, there's a lot of young people like Michael Huggins, right? Have we've helped a lot of young people get started. It's good to have an older gentleman on the line like yourself.
Well, let me know when you get an older gentleman, and I'll tune in. Now, listen, I'm proud to represent the older crowd. I'm not going to say the geriatric crowd, but the older crowd. I'm proud to do it, and I'm happy to do it. And I want to thank you guys for inviting me here today, and I want to apologize to everybody tuning in. I was so focused on doing business this morning that I would normally put a shirt on with a collar today, and I just didn't do it. But the fact of the matter is, these days I hang around the house a lot and conduct my business from right here, and I just don't have to get dressed up. And it's not that I wouldn't have done it for you guys. I just was wrapped up in some stuff this morning. Next thing I know, Michael's sending me the reminder, you ready to get on? And there it was. So please forgive me that. Well, these guys asked me to come on today, and I was delighted to do that because I love sharing the story of how we got here. When I say we, I'm talking about my wife, Nancy, and myself. We came out of the home furnishings business, which is quite different from the real estate business. And we spent well over 30 years in that business as manufacturers reps. We did really well over the years, and we sold some really cool high-end furniture, some outrageously crazy stuff. And we had a good time doing it. And right around 2008, the bottom kind of fell out of the business. And we tried to hang on as best we could. And for all kinds of reasons that aren't really all that important, but not the least of which was the economy and the changing conditions in my industry, the industry I had invested my entire professional life to. It was going away. And there was no denying that. I could have struggled to stay in it, and we did for a few years. And by the time 2011 came around, we decided we needed a change. And we needed the change because we had gone through our savings. We had basically bust out, financially speaking, and we were in a really, really hard place. And it was a nice little convenience that I found this community because I was actually out looking for a job. Now, I hadn't worked a job since 1986. So I had been out of the realm of jobs and into running my own business. I did not want to go back to a job, but I was feeling that desperate. And I ran across a guy by the name of Bob Tierney who turned me on to some new possibilities, which we investigated. We really liked what we saw. And in fact, the thing that attracted me the most, aside from the possibilities that are available to you in real estate investing, what really attracted me was the community. The fact that there were people out there willing to help and willing to share their wisdom and experience. And that meant a lot to me. So we made the leap in 2011, and we took about 3 years of training and getting used to the new environment. We were doing both things. I hadn't given up on the furniture yet because there still was income coming in. And by 2014, we completely got out of the furniture business and decided to invest full time. So we've been doing it full time since then. And we started doing fix and flips, which was a really fun experience. We were able to use our design and high-end home furnishings experience. We could bring that to bear in terms of the vision that we wanted our properties to take on. But we had some learning to do there. We couldn't do the high end that we were used to, but we took our experience to create high-end looks and not spend a ton of money. And we had a good time doing that. We've done, I think, 12, maybe 15 fix and flips, and I call them fix and flips. Most of them have been major renovations. We recently sold a property that we added a second story to, and we tend to get into it, all the way up to our elbows. Well, now we're making a major shift in our business to buy and hold properties. In fact, I spent part of the weekend out in northern Indiana looking at markets and looking at properties, and that's what I was doing all this morning, which is why I didn't change the shirt. We're evaluating properties, and we're about to start our rental portfolio. And we have very specific goals, very specific markets that we've targeted. And we have not yet acquired our first property, but we have offers in on 2 right now and looking at additional in an area where we've decided to concentrate. So we're in what I would consider to be phase 2 of our real estate investing career. It was a plan that we had from the beginning. We wanted to start by doing fix and flip because we felt comfortable there, and then move into buy and hold. And eventually we'd like to move into just holding the paper that underpins the real estate and not necessarily have to deal with the physical plants and just earn our residual income off of that. So what I love about this business is the way it constantly changes and challenges us. And we've taken on those challenges. I've taken a few bruises along the way. You might not know it to look at me, but we've been battered. And we've had some really good experiences as well. But we always take whatever comes our way and we create a lesson out of it. We learn from it. And then I like to share those lessons with other people. So here we are in 2020, which has been a strange year to say the least. And we're moving forward into our next phase of real estate investing. And we couldn't be more thrilled.
Could you tell us, Jay, a little bit about your very first deal that you did?
Yeah, and you know what, that's a really interesting deal. And I love the way it happened. And I think this might be relevant for some people because I had been in the community for a good 3 years then, gone through a lot of training, a lot of coursework, talked to a lot of people, been out to a lot of property tours and felt ready to go, but hadn't quite stepped out. And a friend of mine came into my office one day and he says, you know what, Jay, you and I have been around here about the same amount of time and we haven't done any real estate deals. Why not? And I looked him square in the eye and I said, you know what? it's been fear. It's been trepidation. And I looked at him, I said, you know what? We need to get over that. He says, why don't we get over that? Why don't you and I partner up and make it happen? And we did that. That was late July of 2014. And within 30 days, we had acquired 3 properties and we were starting our first renovation, which was a fix and flip. And we were all the way into it. We went out and we borrowed the money. We found the properties. We found some partnerships and we went right to work. And what I think is relevant, especially to new folks about that story, is 2 things. One, don't be in a hurry to do your first deal if you're not ready to do it. I was fine that it took me 3 years. It might have taken me less had I taken action earlier. But the fact that it took 3 years is not a problem. And second, get into action and put into play the things that you've learned. You have to step out and do it. You can't live it in a textbook world. This business happens out in the world. And once we started doing it, that trepidation went away. Now, I have to be honest with you. Every time we go into a new venture where we discover new things, there's always that little edge, that little something that we don't know about, and we lean on our community to get answers. And I move ahead full force without fear these days. I'm not set back by dollar amounts or by challenges because I know we can handle it. And it's given me a great deal of courage and confidence to continue to move forward. And I know we'll move into areas that I know not enough about right now, but I know that they're coming and we'll just handle them as they come.
So did it work out well? How much money did you make?
Oh my goodness. Well, listen, there were some deals that we lost money on. There were deals that we made money on. And I'm going to be very honest with you, Michael. I don't like to discuss the how much. It's just not me. I just wasn't brought up that way. So we sit here in a net gain position, which is a good thing. And what we are looking at is, instead of getting into fix and flip properties where when that deal closes, the revenue stops, it's a one-time revenue thing. We want to move on to things where revenue is generated every month passively and we can build equity. So I hope that's a fair answer for you. It's just, that's the way I was brought up.
You made enough to pay your bills.
Oh, for sure. My goodness. Yes. Because we closed our furniture business and yes, we pay our bills every month. Yes. And then some. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's not an issue.
Cool. Way cool. All right. So what was it like working when you brought it up with your wife and you're like, hey, we're going to completely change our trajectory. We're closing down a business. I know we're used to that. We're doing this new thing. How was that?
Well, I have to give Nancy a lot of credit for that. And people, don't be confused. My wife's name is Nancy. I'm not talking about Nancy Rowe. So when we looked at it in 2014, a really interesting thing happened. Less than a month after we acquired that first property and started the fix and flip, my time and energy was focused there, but we had not yet shut down our furniture business. I got a call from one of the manufacturers that we represented, and he basically fired me because we weren't spending time doing what we were supposed to do there. And that was okay. I was okay for that. And then I told Nancy about that. I said, you know what? Why don't we make a decision? We've got a foot here and a foot there, and we're not doing justice to either one of those worlds. Why don't we make a commitment one way or the other? Are you okay with that? And she said, well, I don't know. How's that going to work? So we put it down on paper. We said, look, these are the expenses. This is what we can expect to make. This has been our track record so far. If we put the time and energy that we've been putting over here and we put it into our real estate, we can do this. And that's exactly what we did. And we've never looked back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Way cool. So you said something unique that maybe people didn't understand at the beginning. You said that you were buying some now, but then you're going to reposition yourself to hold the note. Why is that attractive to you?
Well, look, every aspect of this business, like any business, has its headaches. When you get involved in fix and flips, you're going to have contractor headaches. You're going to have supplier headaches. You're going to have money headaches. We know that as we head into the world of buy and hold property, we know we're going to have tenant headaches. We know we're going to have property management headaches. I'm not a babe in the woods. We're not naive about this. You have to deal with the properties, you have to deal with the tenants. If we can get to a position where we're the bank and we're holding the paper on the property, we don't have to deal with the property. It doesn't matter to me if the roof leaks. That's the problem of the owner. All we want to do is collect on our notes. So the income becomes more passive and presumably a little bit less of a headache. Now, obviously, we would be taking on probably even a bigger risk, because if there's a failure, it's a failure that we have to live with. We don't want to go back in and reclaim properties, but it's a shift in risk. And that's what's attractive to me. I want to get to a point where, and I think my age drives this too. I'm not thinking about retirement per se, but I'm getting to a point where, you know, if I spend a day with a tool belt on, I feel it at the end of the day. And so I want to get to a point where there's more passive and less active. That makes sense?
Oh yeah, definitely. So what I'm hearing is that as you spent more time with us, your eyes started opening up to what kind of risk to reward real estate you were after. And you've done quite a broad experience of that. So what about for debt reduction or tax savings? Are you applying any of those strategies?
Great question. Now, I always consider myself pretty good at tax strategies because I was an independent business owner. And I knew, at least on the surface, a lot of the strategies that we learn in this program, but I started putting them to use and then stacking those strategies when I came on board. And within the first 3 years, I wasn't doing nothing. I really ramped up my tax savings. We got to a point where we were getting serious amounts of tax credits every year. And that was pretty cool. I mean, we were getting about $25,000 in tax credits, I think, through this year. Some of that's going to go away and we'll have to find new places to replace that. But the tax advantages are amazing. So if you looked at an income statement, we don't make very much money, but we live through our business. And I took what I was doing in my furniture business and just ramped it up. So tax savings are a huge part of what we do. Absolutely huge.
Awesome. Way cool. So what do you, when it comes to your partnerships and the other resources that you found inside of our community and eliminating that fear, what was that like, having that as a resource?
Well, for my money, it was invaluable. Now, you will hear some people say, don't get a partner, because partners are human beings and we all have our frailties and we have our faults. I get that. I've had some partnerships that have worked out better than others, but I've not looked back on any of them and said, I wish I hadn't done that. Because inside those partnerships, what I look for are people with talents and resources that I don't have. And presumably they look to me for resources and talents that they don't have. So we mirror each other. It's not like we're overlapping our strengths. And I think that builds for very strong partnerships. I will tell you, at least at this point in time, I can't conceive of ever doing a real estate deal without a partner. I want those partners because, folks, and I'll tell you this, when you get into deals, there will be days, I promise you, there will be days when you're going to stand there and think, what have I done and what do I do now? And I see a grin coming over your face, Michael, because you know what I'm talking about. And it's a very lonely place if you're there by yourself. I've always had the ability to pick up the telephone or meet with my partners and just hash it out. And to me, that's very valuable. I like that. So if nothing else, I'd want those partnerships for sounding boards and moral support.
Right on. Awesome. Yep. I definitely have had those experiences.
I saw it on your face. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing now is you're saying, as you've spent more time with the group and you've found the kind of partners you want and the strategies you want, you're actually gonna be able to spend less and less time on it and still make a good amount of money.
Yeah, and that's always the goal. At least that's always my goal, because I want this business to generate passive income for me so that I can spend my time doing what I want, which might be creating other deals. So when you say spend less time, that may not be my choice. Maybe it's my choice to take the time that I saved through the passive income and go out and generate more deals. Right now, that's my mindset, but it's my time to use as I please. I could also theoretically use that time to go to the beach. I like having the choice.
That's right. It's choices, baby. Choices.
There you go.
Awesome.
It's always about that.
Yeah. Yep. And so, cool. Well, Scott, did you want to add anything to this?
No, I just want to add that we have a bunch of recordings from, I don't know, we've been doing this for now for over 30 days. So we got a bunch of recordings of folks around the country that have done some crazy things. I'm making arrangements for some stuff tomorrow and the rest of the week. So I'm your Huckleberry.
I want to thank you guys again for inviting me today. I love the opportunity to share our experience with other people. And I hope maybe it'll give somebody the courage to take the next step that they've just been a little bit afraid to do, or maybe it'll give somebody the courage to step up and get involved in this community. And either way, I hope it's been helpful to whoever's been on and listening.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate you taking some time today. I know you got some more business dealings to go and handle. And so thank you for opening up and sharing that. And we'll look forward to having you in a future episode. And folks, like Scott said, there are other episodes for you to come check out. Our YouTube playlist is at Elevate Renatus. Go and check out the YouTube playlist. It's our Zoom Up. Also, coming up in the next couple weeks, we're going to be having some workshops on our Saturday workshops where it's by invitation only, not open to the public. So you will want to get back with the person who invited you here so you can get those links, as well as this week, we're doing some amazing stuff. So you want to stay involved as we go through this, because like Jay, like me, like Scott, and everyone else here on the line, this information could radically change your life if you're really open to it. And we're here to support you.
And there are information meetings. So get back in touch with the person who invited you here so you can get fuller detail on how this community really works. I think you'll be very impressed.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, folks, it's been another beautiful day. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.